first in high definition from the station on your side. This is WAVY News 10.
Investigators say they found bomb-making materials, including a partially completed IED at a house in James City County.
Now, an active-duty Navy corpsman, Joseph Yangle, is behind bars. 10 on your side's Melanie Woodrow is in the newsroom to explain. Melanie, how did investigators find out about these bomb-making materials?
Well, police officers stumbled on them. James City County Police received a domestic assault call on Saturday night. When officers arrived, they realized they needed backup and called the fire marshal's office. This is the type of explosive device you might see overseas, but it was in this James City County home. And District Chief Robert Riles says the only thing missing was a power source and explosive filler.
Anybody that would be, putting this type of device together, in my opinion, is up to no good.
Police arrested hospital corpsman second-class Joseph Yangle.
Then to see a mugshot, I thought, oh my gosh, I think I've seen this man walking his dog.
Neighbor Chris Pike said she didn't know Yangle personally and found it difficult to believe she was so close to potential danger.
Oh, we were shocked. We were shocked. It's a very quiet neighborhood.
Chief Riles said homes on either side of this one were evacuated as a precaution. Military members familiar with dismantling explosive devices like this one overseas were called in to do the job in the season's TRAK subdivision. Materials removed included smokeless gunpowder, military heat tablets, and more iron piping. There's no telling what Yangle had in mind.
We see a lot of terrorism, around the world, and we've seen it here at home. Suicide bombers, etc. Anything is possible.
Yangle, who is from upstate New York, is being held without bond at the Virginia Peninsula Regional Jail. By the way, somebody answered his door when we went by today. We'll have that part of the story tonight, new at 6. In the newsroom, Melanie Woodrow, 10 on your side.
Yangle was assigned to the Branch Medical Clinic at Yorktown Naval Weapons Station. NCIS is also investigating.
Virginia Beach's mayor is rejecting plans for a new convention center hotel. Will Sessoms now says the $109 million deal is not a good one for the city. The proposed Hyatt Regency Convention Center hotel is to be located on 19th Street attached to the Virginia Beach Convention Center. Mayor Sessoms has postponed discussion on the hotel indefinitely. You're going to hear from Mayor Sessoms in less than an hour. Andy Fox talks with him on WAVY News 10 at 6.
The medical examiner in Richmond is performing an autopsy on a man's body found burning on the side of the road in James City County. This was a breaking story last night at 11. Several drivers reported the fire at around 7 last night on Route 143 or Merrimack Trail. When firefighters arrived, they determined it was a man lying face down, covered in accelerant. James City County's district chief said firefighters were surprised.
Well, I think it was a little bizarre to the guys that went out there as well. I mean, it's certainly not what you expect when you're going for a brush fire. You think somebody just threw a cigarette out and that's all you're going to find.
If you have any information in this case, call the crime line.
The smell of smoke provided a clue that investigators later confirmed. An overloaded circuit that eventually burned down a house in Hampton. The call came from Aspenwood Drive around 1:45 a.m. Investigators say the homeowner smelled smoke, didn't see anything, and went back to bed. Finally, the smoke detector went off, waking him up for a second time, and he escaped unharmed. It wasn't anything behind the walls in Virginia Beach, but something on the stove that led to these flames. It prompted Charles Wilkinson to shoot this video and send it to Report It. This is on Plum Crescent off Holland Road near Lynn Haven Parkway and Green Run. No one was hurt.
A woman will not spend any time behind bars for the death of her own son. Today, a Virginia Beach judge sentenced Angelica Lee to a 5-year suspended sentence for voluntary manslaughter. Instead, she'll be on probation and cannot consume alcohol. Police said Lee shot 24-year-old Marcus Reese after a fight inside a home on Woodlake Road in 2009. Another bitter cold day here in Hampton Roads.
But there is a warm-up on the way. 10 on your side, Chief Meteorologist Don Slater's here with the good news. Super Doppler 10 Weather Center. Hope I didn't steal your thunder, Don.
Well, it was better today than it was yesterday, that's for certain, with all the wind that we had yesterday. Wind wasn't as bad today. Temperatures were up just a couple of degrees throughout the area, and we got a beautiful sunset out there, and we got the promise of some warmer weather moving on in. Here's what's going on in terms of our low temperatures last night. Very, very chilly. Coldest we've seen in about 11 months. So again, very, very cold. Most temperatures dropped on down into the upper teens to around the 20-degree mark. It was a little more mild with the breeze coming in off the bay toward Norfolk with 24 degrees. Now, current temperature readings are about as warm as they've been all day. We did hit highs basically around 39 degrees. Basically, they're right now 36 to 39 degrees through most of the Hampton Roads region. Again, with that setting sun and a few clouds into the area. Not as cold as last night overnight. Coldest temperatures again last night that we've seen since February 11th, 2011. Temperatures tonight, instead of around 17, 18 to around 30 to around 25 degrees, tonight's temperatures will be about 10 degrees warmer. And tomorrow's highs to be about 10 degrees warmer as well. We'll tell you more about what we can expect, including a little more of a warm-up into the weekend. We'll have that for you in a few minutes.
Decision 2012, a photo finish in Iowa, 8 votes separated winner Mitt Romney from Rick Santorum. And Michelle Bachmann, she suspended her campaign today after finishing 6th in her home state. Next stop, the GOP presidential race, New Hampshire. Steve Handelsman is also on the campaign trail.
Mitt Romney in New Hampshire after his slim win in Iowa.
But it felt very, very good last night when the final numbers came in.
A feeling of relief, beating staunch conservative Rick Santorum by just 8 votes.
And the fact is, 3 out of 4 Republicans rejected him.
Newt Gingrich is going after Romney.
I find it amazing the news media continues to say he's the most electable Republican when he can't even break out in his own party.
But at Romney's first post-Iowa rally, the Republican Party's last nominee, John McCain, endorsed Romney.
And New Hampshire is a state that will catapult him on to victory in a very short period of time. That's why I'm here.
Romney's polling far in front.
Do we think we can get more than an 8-vote margin here in New Hampshire? I'm going to try.
Ron Paul will try to build on his 3rd place in Iowa.
We're actually in 2nd place. They were tied for 1st.
Santorum admits he can't win New Hampshire. He'll focus on conservative South Carolina. But Santorum told me he'll still be in the top tier next Tuesday.
We've been to New Hampshire more than any other candidate other than John Huntsman.
Right.
So we've got a great grassroots team there, and we feel very good.
Huntsman's pinned his hopes on New Hampshire. Rick Perry said today he'll fight on. But Michelle Bachmann, 6th in the caucuses, quit the race.
Last night, the people of Iowa spoke with a very clear voice, and so I have decided to stand aside.
Everyone else is in, gunning for Mitt Romney.
But here in New Hampshire, Romney's polling now at about 41%. None of his rivals have even half that. From Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm Steve Handelsman for 10 on your side.
Well, Newt Gingrich, John Huntsman, and Rick Santorum joined Rick Perry's lawsuit challenging Virginia's ballot access law. The Texas governor claims the state's requirement of 10,000 signatures is unconstitutional. A hearing on Perry's request is set for Friday. Now, Perry didn't get enough signatures of registered voters to get on Virginia's ballot. Gingrich also failed to qualify. Huntsman and Santorum, well, they did not submit any petitions. That leaves Mitt Romney and Ron Paul as the only candidates in the March 6th primary.
A Portsmouth family wants justice for their mother.
So this is no accident, and I just want that to be known.
She died on New Year's Eve, and her family now says they know who killed her. Their story, new at 5:30.
And we're on your side with job help, what you need to know to grab a potential employer with your resume.
A 7-year-old suffered an allergic reaction at her Virginia elementary school and later died. Hear why the little girl's mom is questioning whether the school could have done more to save her daughter's life.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Ribas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Drivers say within minutes the road was slick and there was no visibility. A hard and fast snowstorm is blamed for turning a Virginia interstate into a demolition derby. Take a look at this. The pileup on Interstate 81 in Rockingham County involved about 30 vehicles yesterday. Smashed cars, trucks, SUVs, and tractor trailers scattered a 1-mile stretch of the interstate there. VDOT closed 5 miles of the northbound lanes for nearly 3 hours. The private contractor that oversees maintenance for this section of I-81 says it expected only flurries and snow showers, so they did not pre-treat the interstate.
An allergic reaction at school led to the death of a 7-year-old girl. This happened Monday in Chesterfield County near Richmond. Amaria Johnson's mother says that a well-known intense peanut allergy caused her daughter's throat to close up. Now she wants to know how Amaria got that peanut.
I've heard 2 different stories. One was that it was unsupervised and a kid gave it to her, and the other was that someone made her eat it. She has a allergy action plan at the school. If she breaks out in hives, if she comes into contact with something she's allergic to, the first thing you do is give her Benadryl. They didn't give her anything.
A lot of questions here. Police and officials at Hopkins Road Elementary are investigating that child's death.
Having trouble landing a job? Maybe you're not using the right words.
Supervised, maintained, streamlined, processed, utilized.
Up next, an employment expert shares some tips on rehabbing your resume.
And most jobs have their own set of pressures. What do you think is the most stressful career? We'll tell you what's at the top and the bottom of the list. Governor Bob McDonnell is selling his plan for jobs and business development, but are state lawmakers buying? The governor is proposing an additional $37 million in his 2-year state budget. Points here include tax credits for small business and $10 million for life sciences, $4 million to improve the Wallops Island launch site on the Eastern Shore, and $2 million for funding workforce training at community colleges. We're on your side, continuing with tips to help you find work.
Today, the focus is on your resume, and there's a good chance it's time to update it. 10 on your side's Katie Collette joins us now with details you need to know. Katie?
Nicole and Tom, today I learned your resume could be in need of an update even if it's only a year old, and those resume writing techniques you use to score that first job are quite possibly obsolete.
Working to find work, something George Kaysen's doing today, something he's done for the past year. The day he was laid off from his food retail job, he vowed to stay in a work routine.
Still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get out on the road as early as I possibly can, try to stay in some sort of regimen.
Part of that regimen involved updating his resume.
Just finding a way to bring out those experiences and those skills that you have. You know, to catch someone's attention. That was the biggest thing.
At One Stop Workforce in Norfolk, George learned a bit of resume rehab from this woman, Cynthia Rios.
There are companies that are using software programs that are actually picking up keywords from the influx of resumes and applications that are coming through.
She says you'll find those keywords in job advertisements highlighting the abilities, skills, and qualifications you need for the job. Rios also recommends using action verbs.
Supervised, maintained, streamlined, processed, utilized.
This is an example of an outdated resume, according to Rios.
We're looking at a resume that is not very visually appealing and extremely wordy.
This is the updated version ready for an employer's review.
It shows this person's skills and abilities and that sort of thing right up in the prime real estate area versus something that's very wordy and hard to read here.
And the resume was whittled down from 3 to 2 pages. Clearly, it's a lot of work to find work, but George says you have to take advantage of the help out there.
Try to remain as positive as you possibly can, and it's very, very important.
Now, we have much more resume writing tips on our website, WAVY.com. Just click on this story. And by the way, you don't have to pay someone to help you write your resume. At One Stop, the Peninsula WorkLink, and the Virginia Employment Commission, there are workshops, clinics, and counselors there to help you for free. Katie Collette, 10 on your side.
Here's another tip. Do not depend solely on the internet for sending out your resume. Experts recommend going to the place you'd like to work and also set up an informational interview. Speak with someone at the company about what it's like to work there, including the benefits and the challenges. We all have stress on the job, but not all jobs are created equal. According to a survey by CareerCast.com, enlisted military have the nation's most stressful job. Firefighters are second on the list, and airline pilots came in third. The annual survey of 200 different professions measures work environment, job competitiveness, and risk. So what are the top 3 least stressful jobs? Medical records technician, jeweler, and hairstylist.
Now, in high definition, your Super for 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
And what we've got going on today, obviously, it's a little warmer anyway, a couple of degrees warmer, about 3-4 degrees warmer, and a lot less wind for the day. We've got sunshine out there, but a few clouds, and as far as any thicker cloud cover, it's all off to the north, where there has been really a little flurry or two on off into, there it is, right on there to the west of the Fredericksburg area. So again, that's not doing much of anything. However, we could see a stray snow shower or flurry toward the northern neck, perhaps the eastern shore a little bit later on overnight, because of the fact that this little area is swinging on through. It'll tend to dry out a bit as it moves on off of the mountains, but again, we could still see a flurry or two toward the northern neck and the eastern shore, perhaps the middle peninsula, but again, this is nothing real big. Last night, of course, yesterday evening, we had a few flakes of snow, and they settled on a few things, tables, cars, etc., and then they're gone basically about an hour later, and tonight, no such thing, but we've got these little waves of reinforcing cooler air moving on through overnight, really basically just wind shift lines. They're not going to cool us off overnight. They'll hold our temperatures down from getting really warmer for the day tomorrow, but it'll warm up a little bit. Northwest winds at 10 miles an hour for tomorrow in the middle of the day, and by the end of the day, 5 to 10 mile an hour winds. There's where we are overnight and into Friday. Friday it'll definitely warm up. Tomorrow, yeah, it's going to get warmer, about 10 degrees warmer. It'll be about 20 degrees warmer for Friday. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds on Friday and rather gusty out of the southwest, and that will warm things on up to about 60 degrees. But we've got a beautiful looking day anyway, and you can see a sundog every now and then, a little bright spot in the thin cirrus clouds a little bit earlier on, but right now we've got partly cloudy skies, some thin clouds. You can see our temperatures last night in Newport News dropping on down into the upper teens, today rising into the upper 30s, and that's basically for everybody. We had the highs into the upper 30s. Near the coastline, though, the Bayfront in Norfolk, it was 24 for an overnight low in between the hours here. It was basically at 7 o'clock this morning. So again, pretty uniform temperatures into the area, 35, 37 degrees. Our low last night in Norfolk, 24 degrees. However, anywhere inland, it was significantly colder. And you can see, again, temperatures right now pretty uniform, 34 to 37 to 39, a little cooler at Chincoteague, Wallops Island there. 18, 19, 21 the lows last night, 16 in Ahoskie, 16 in Elizabeth City, 21 degrees right at the beach, 24 degrees in Norfolk. Tonight, not nearly as cold. Still cold, though. 27, 28, then 33. Stars and clouds overnight. Stars and clouds for the south side. 26 to around 30 for an overnight low. So that's about 10 degrees less cold. I can't say warmer because obviously that's still a little on the chilly side. Here's where we are for the peninsula, 27 to 30. A little more cloud cover the farther northward that we go. And as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we could see a stray flurry or two toward the northern neck, perhaps middle peninsula and the eastern shore, around 27 to 29. A lot more cloud cover, and that'll hold your temperature up just a degree or two. But tomorrow, everybody gets closer to normal. 48 degrees is normal for this time of year. 10 degrees warmer, 10 degrees warmer than today. 61 on Friday. Saturday, 60 degrees. A little cooler on Sunday with 53. Chance of rain, light rain on Monday, and then a better shot at some rain all the way into next Wednesday. It looks like it'll rain Wednesday and Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So again, a little cool overnight, not as bad as last night, and the warm-up begins tomorrow.
Pain relief that doesn't involve popping a pill. Ooh, that looks painful. We'll tell you what researchers say can help during your next trip to the dentist or doctor. Then,
you have to make a choice, you or him, and I chose my son over him.
A
A young widow made a drastic move when two men tried to break into her home. It was a matter of life and death. The number of women having twins is multiplying. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the twin birth rate rose 76% over the last 30 years. Now, 1 in every 30 newborns has a twin brother or sister. Experts attribute the jump to infertility treatments. Also, there are more women conceiving later in life. Twins are more likely to occur naturally in older moms.
And listening to your favorite tunes could make that next dentist or doctor's visit less painful. The University of Utah studied more than 100 people who listened to music while getting a painful shock in their fingertip. Ugh. Scientists monitored their brain activity and pupil dilation and found their pain decreased as they became more absorbed in music. Music had the biggest benefits for those prone to anxiety.
The pain at the pump isn't getting any easier. Gasoline prices could rise 4.5 cents a gallon starting next week. The reason? Congress did not renew the 30-year-old federal subsidy for ethanol, so it expired on Sunday. Virtually all retail gasoline sold in the U.S. contains at least 10% ethanol. The tax credit costs the federal government $6 billion a year. According to AAA, across the nation, the average cost for a gallon of regular gas is $3.29. In Virginia, it's $3.19. In North Carolina, it's $3.31. WAVY.com makes it easy to find the cheapest gas prices in Hampton Roads. Just click the On Your Side tab, and once you get to the page, scroll down until you see the red gas pump. There you can find a link to our gas tracker.
Super Bowl 46. It's a month away, and all those commercial spots, they're sold out. The price tag for a 30-second ad, yeah, it's gotten higher, folks, and what you can expect to see during the big game. That's next.
And talk about bad timing. On the coldest night of the year, hundreds of Norfolk residents woke up to find their heat wasn't working. Tell Your Side finds out why.
Apparently, yes. Yes. Check. Once you, I don't have it on yet. But, you know.
Okay. There we go. How's that? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Crews have been working through them.
Are you serious?
Well, they say time is money. How about 30 seconds worth? It's worth $3.5 million. That's the average cost for a spot during this year's Super Bowl. And commercials for the big game, a sellout. NBC says you can expect to see some longer commercials too. And almost every car company has committed to at least one ad. First-time advertisers this year include Dannon and Century 21. The Super Bowl kicks off Sunday, February 5th at 6:30 from Indianapolis, and you'll only see it here on WAVY TV 10. Same place where you're going to see WAVY News 10 at 5:30 because it starts right now.